To provincial politics now. They've appeared together, side by side, several times. But could a communication gap be growing between Ontario's Premier and the Prime Minister? Tina Yazdani joins us now. And Tina, Doug Ford says he's been expecting a call or message from the PM over the past few days, but it hasn't come.
Yeah, Cynthia, Ford says he hasn't heard from Carney. He didn't hear from him before he made an EV deal with China, and he hasn't heard from him since. His tone signaling possible tensions with the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister knows my number, and I thought we had a good enough relationship that he'd give me a quick text or a little bit of communication. That never happened.
Premier Doug Ford casting doubt on his relationship with the Prime Minister after he was left in the dark on a deal he says will have long-lasting economic impacts in Ontario. 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles will soon enter the Canadian market, putting Ontario's auto sector on edge.
When someone doesn't communicate and preaches partnerships and then goes out and makes a deal that isn't good for Ontario, you know where you stand.
Ford tells reporters he's disappointed he hasn't heard from Carney at all since the deal was made last week, noting he only found out about it a couple of hours before it was publicly announced.
This premier decides to suddenly wake up and say he's ticked off that a deal was made without him. You know what? If you're not at the table, you are on the menu.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe was at the table when Carney struck the deal that will benefit Saskatchewan's canola farmers as China eases tariffs on agricultural products.
Do you regret not being there in China, though? Critics say that you should have pushed your way in and been at the table.
Well, when you see the plane take off on the news and away you go, I'm not running down the runway to hold on to the wheels, I'll tell you that. So if he wanted me there, he'd ask me there.
While the Premier says the deal will put 500,000 auto jobs in jeopardy in the province, the Prime Minister has maintained that this shift will serve as an opportunity for Ontario, claiming Chinese companies have expressed explicit interest in partnering with Canadian ones to produce affordable EVs in the country. At a conference for Ontario's rural leaders earlier today, the Premier told a large crowd he doesn't buy it.
And once the camel gets his head in a tent, his whole body's in the tent, and you aren't getting rid of him. Remember this speech.
Being folksy doesn't protect folks. If Chinese autos are going to enter the Canadian market, it's actually a way to try to attract Chinese investment here to bring jobs for our very skilled auto union workforce.
Now, Tina, with all that being said, could the new EV deal with China bring down the price of cars?
Yeah, Cynthia, while automakers are certainly speaking out against this deal, some car dealership owners say this could be great for consumers. This comes at a time when car prices are skyrocketing in the province, and there's certainly an appetite for more competition in the market. In fact, an Abacus data poll found last year that more than half of Canadians want lower tariffs or no tariffs at all in order to improve consumer affordability. I did have a chance to ask the Premier about this. He basically said, at what cost? He said it's not worth losing jobs. Cynthia?
All right, Tina Yazdani, thank you.